What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. And Erik Ten Hag's future and his job is in doubt as more and more reports coming out from multiple different journalists. It feels like the writing is on the wall for Erik Ten Hag at the moment. I'm going to discuss why I think that is, the actual reports in detail, what managers could potentially come in and replace him, what Ineos's plans are, or at least what talks of him, what the reports are, basically. We're going to dive into that. So, look, it's looking pretty bleak. We've had multiple journalists. It's not just one kind of journal coming out and reporting this, and he's pulled it from his arsehole. There's quite a few who are briefing similar things, to be honest with you. We've had Mike McGrath put Man United are weighing up Erik Ten Hag's future. Disco Mirror saying Erik Ten Hag has been given no assurance he'll remain as Manchester United boss beyond this summer. Representatives of managers have now put their clients in the frame for the United job should Ten Hag be sacked at the end of the season. James Ducker from The Telegraph, Erik Ten Hag's future at Manchester United is in doubt. United's poor performance and worrying setup in the 2-1 defeat at home to Fulham is thought to have been dimly received, and the mood was not improved on Sunday when Ten Hag's side were comprehensively outclassed by Man City in their 11th league loss of the season. So this is like 3-4 journalists that are briefing this. We've heard stuff from Gary Neville and Paul Scholes, which I've mentioned on the show the other day. They're saying they think they've already made a decision. So something is going on behind closed doors. Something's going on behind the scenes. Ineos are never going to come out and say, yeah, we're looking at a new manager. We're speaking with multiple different people. Eric's only here to the summer, then he's going to fuck off. They're never ever going to put that. But I think I'm going to get into my opinion in a moment, but this season, I don't think he's done enough. I don't. I think he had a lot of credit in the bank from last season. I think he overachieved with the players that he had, with the situations that was ongoing, e.g. David De Gea, Cristiano Ronaldo, Mason Greenwood here or there. You had Anthony's situation at the start of the season. You've had all the injuries this season, and he's had to deal with a lot. But having said that, Man United managers have to deal with a lot. That is part and parcel of the job. When you join a club and the size of United, especially when you know what's been going on the past kind of 10 years, he probably would have expected that he would have had to deal with, multiple things. Maybe not to the extent that he has. And I think he definitely gets credit for that. I think, in my personal opinion, how he's handled the Ronaldo situation and the Glazers selling the club, or half selling the club, or whatever you want to call it, whilst he's trying to do his own job, whilst trying also being like an agent and a recruiter. Like, he's been juggling a lot of things. I think fans are very, very split on this and very, very divided. Only because I feel like we've been in this situation before, where whether it was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer or Jose Mourinho, and you sat there saying, right, we get rid of the manager, things will freshen up, we'll have a new approach, and we go again, and we'll challenge for a title, and we'll get back into the Champions League and push towards the final. And that has never happened. Now, why has that never happened? Because of the players that are still at the club. So it baffles me why people are so eager to get rid of the manager, but not the players, the same energy levels. Like, don't get me wrong, you hear things about Anthony and Sancho and the easy kind of targets, if you will. But the players that have been here for a long, long time, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, even players like Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, where's the accountability for these guys to say, if you want to start fresh and start a new summer? And also, why doesn't Erik Ten Hag get the opportunity to work under a new structure? Because we've never given a manager that. We've always given players whatever they've wanted in the right moment, when they've decided, can't be asked for this manager. What we'll do is we'll get a new one to come in. Oh, look, Ollie's come in, interim bounce, 12 games, we'll play for you. You've unlocked the shackles. Give it enough time, and they'll be like, don't like training. It's fucking dark outside. I'm unhappy, I'm unsettled, my legs are aching. And, same rodeo again. They was calling someone like Ralph Ragnick fucking, what was it? Ted Lasso, or one of his assistants, Ted Lasso, and the way he trains is this and that and da. Like, that, the disrespect to someone who has such like a high reputation in football, someone who's a club builder, someone who we could probably do with now. I think I don't get why people are so quick to slay the manager. Yeah, he's accountable, and yeah, I agree. Some of the decisions, some of the performances, especially the Fulham one. I mean, You can't lose to Fulham. If you're striving for Champions League football, which we shouldn't be doing, by the way, we're talking about 5th place. Now, maybe Man United can just pull off 5th place. And it's like, how the mighty have fallen. 5th place? Are you taking the piss? 5th place? Is that what we're pushing for? We should be challenging for titles, man. But that's the standard that we've fallen to now. And yes, it's because of a couple of the managers' decisions. Moyes after Fergie wasn't the correct decision. I don't think Van Gaal should have been sacked when he did. Mourinho had to go. Same thing with Ole, got us to finals, many semi-finals, but didn't get past the line. So ultimately it's like, right, boom. Erik Ten Hag, fresh manager from Ajax. We're going to play this possession-based football. And then it's the complete opposite. It's utter chaos, direct, transitional, kind of basketball, end-to-end football. We get the complete opposite of what we was expecting. Now, a couple of the managers that are being linked with the job is someone like Roberto De Zerbi, not Robert. It makes me sound way too posh, that. Roberto De Zerbi, obviously, more towards the start of the season, was getting a lot of praise for how he sets up, how he plays. You had Pep saying, in build-up, he's the best manager. And the players that he's developed and man-managed, players that have moved on to do really well, players like McAllister, who's been one of the signings of the season, Caicedo, not so much. But the youngsters that they've kind of bled through that team have been really, really good. He's got an eye for talent. He can coach talent. The way he sets up it's controlled. It's measured. I think it's overachieved with Brighton. But so did Graham Potter. So do you put them in the same kind of thing, in the same conversation? I don't know, but these are the names that are going to be mentioned. I'll get onto them in a bit more depth in about 5 or 10 minutes. I just want to stay with Ten Hag just for the moment because I went off on a bit of a tangent there. The question is, people, like I'm saying, are so quick to get rid of him, but do you think, honestly, hand on heart, and let me get the comments up because I'm sat here waffling to you and I've not even got the fucking comments alongside me. Do you think, hand on heart, that if he was to go to another club, he would be successful? Honestly, answer that in the chat, please, and let me know. Because I think he should be given the opportunity under the right structure. I think I'm not going to say he's earned that, but I think he at least deserves 6 months, a year. If we get to the summer, you've got a structure above him who's going to recruit the players for him. He doesn't have to worry about all the kind of external things, just focus purely on football and coaching the players. And Ineos are that cutthroat to say, yeah, we'll get rid of him, that's fine. Because sometimes, like Mourinho, for example, wanted to get rid of Anthony Martial, the club, like, no chance. 9 years later, he's still here and has played about 3 games this season. So I feel like he needs that kind of discipline above him to be like, yep, we'll back you on that. No, you're not getting that player, e.g. Anthony. We're looking at this player. He's 40 million cheaper. Looks more like he has the kind of profile for Man United. That's what he needs. He needs a system put in place above him so he can at least be given the chance to succeed, in my opinion. It's the style of football where I'm kind of sat there like, I don't know if I can get past that. I don't know if that's ever going to work. You never feel like every game, you have no idea what the score is going to be. And maybe from a neutral perspective, a lot of people want that. People like watching that football because it's a bit of chaos. There's like 20 shots end to end. I don't want that. I think a lot of the top clubs now who are dominating football, what football did he play? Pep Guardiola, Man City is the best team in the world. Just won a treble. Possession-based football. Now, people call it boring, and people say they prefer Liverpool style, and I understand that. But that equally is successful, but it's organised chaos. We're just chaos. We're just on the pitch like a tub of paint, and wherever the fucking paint goes, splash. That's what we do. Arsenal, again, possession-based football. Ange, the football that Ange plays at Spurs, I know it's risky. I know it can be chaotic at times with the high line. But the football is nice. We have... The thing is, United, the standards become with the style. When we do, like, a couple of passes and there's a couple of combinations, we're like, oh, fucking hell, he had a good game today. Whereas, like, other teams near the top of the table, even in Europe, elsewhere, are doing this consistently, keeping hold of the ball for 10, 15 minutes and then penetrating and getting a goal. We do a combination where there's a triangle, a little flick, and we're like, oh, look at him. Oh, he's improved, hasn't he? Like, so I can't get past this style of football. I don't mind counter-attacking football as well. I remember Real Madrid doing it in the... They won Champions Leagues by doing it. I have no issue with it. This season, I can't get with it. And again, that kind of begs the question, is it individual personnel? What is it? Why is it not working? You know, you look at Casemiro, his legs have gone in the midfield. That is a huge contribution to it. You look at our wingers. One, not consistent enough in the finishing. Don't get nowhere near enough goals, which I'm going to touch on towards the end. The product in terms of creativity just isn't there whatsoever. The wing backs don't like to join the press. They like half press and leave gaps. So tactically, they're not clued up there. The centre backs won't be playing like Johnny Evans or Lindelof or Harry Maguire. You can't play a high line with them. So then, when you're trying to commit to a press and the defence is like a low line, that's where the gap comes from. There, that between my hands. That's the defensive line. Usually, if you have a Rafael Varane, and let's say a Leacher, or let's say you have Van der Ven and Romero, right? They push right up. So they commit to the press. The team's compact. You can't play through them. All it takes for any team who plays United at the moment, and this has happened since the start of the season, they just play it into midfield, play that cutting pass. There'll be two players that drop in there. Wolves, perfect example, Sarabia and Cunha, and they murder you on the counter attack because it's the Premier League, it's fast paced, and they have killers. A lot of teams have killers up top. So the style just hasn't been sustainable. And maybe if you had all these players fit, it could have worked. But if buts, nuts. You know what I'm saying? If buts, coconuts, I think the thing is. So it's not working. It's not working. And he's been way too stubborn to even change it, which I find bizarre because last season, at the start, when he tried playing out from the back with David De Gea, and he had Eriksen as like a 6, and we got killed twice by Brighton and Brentford. He then switched up, started, long ball, slow, fast build up, and we started getting some results. But the issue is, again, when you've got Eriksen in the midfield, his physicality is non-existent. So you saw time and time again runners running off the back of Eriksen, catching him, and then Casemiro gets dragged over, and then he's spacing behind. There is no cohesion, there is no structure with this team, and there is no chemistry, it feels like. And that ultimately always comes down to the manager. Always. Whether you can throw any kind of excuses to back him up, I understand it. I actually think some of them are valid, but he's not getting the results. We're probably not going to get Champions League football, and if we get knocked out of the FA Cup by Liverpool, it's kind of hard to back him to say, yeah, this guy should stay. I can't see myself doing it. But then again, you're looking at like some of the reports coming out. I mentioned De Zerbi before. United are looking at De Zerbi as their next manager. He has admirers at the club, and his release clause is set to be upwards of 12 million quid. So not even just that, they're going to have to pay Erik Ten Hag the rest of his contract off. I don't know, I think it's like maybe 15 million quid or something. And then you're going to pay 12 million for De Zerbi. What happens if De Zerbi comes in and he goes, don't like Lissandro, don't like Onana, don't like Mount. I want more possession-based players. I want to bring, De Jong in. I want to bring this guy in. I want to bring this guy in. And tears it all up and starts again. And you're like, oh my God. And we've had like 8 years of this, 10 years of this, sorry. And you've got to go again. It's like, how do you sell that to the fans to say, be patient? De Zerbi's come in, never won a trophy before. He's admired. But how do you then gain the respect of the players in there who've been managed by Jose Mourinho? Been managed by Erik Ten Hag, Louis van Gaal. He's won Champions Leagues and stuff. So how do you go in there and how do you demand respect? I did a good job at Brighton. And I think the same thing falls with Potter as well. How can you go into a dressing room when you've won one Swedish league? One Swedish league is what Graham Potter's won. And you bounce in and go, I like Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I play nice football at Brighton. I failed miserably at Chelsea, but that's, kind of fair enough. Chelsea is Chelsea. I just don't think they could command the respect. And it's not necessarily on them. I just know what these players are like. I know what Marcus Rashford is like. I know what Anthony Martial is like. If he's still here, he'll probably be gone by then, to be fair. A lot of them are prima donnas. A lot of them will throw you under the bus at the first chance that they get. That's just how I see it. I really, really struggle to see how Graham Potter would succeed at United. I'm not saying it wouldn't work. He definitely needs time, but you need a balance of both. You need tactical excellence and the ultimate kind of figure. You have to be charismatic. You have to have that authority. You need both nowadays. And, you know, some of the managers that are being linked, you've got Potter, you've got Zidane, you've got Mourinho, you've got Nagelsmann, you've got Lopetegui, obviously De Zerbi, who I've mentioned. And out of all them, this is just my internal feeling. None of them jump out to me. I think Zidane obviously done amazing at Real Madrid, but then look at the players that he's got. And I'm almost going to contradict myself here, because we do need a club builder. We need someone long term who's going to stay here and look at a project. And you know, Ineos are going to scrap a lot of things up, and then we're going to look to build. And people will say, well, that's your De Zerbi, that's your Graham Potter. And you can say whatever. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I just think it's so difficult, because we've tried everything. We've tried Ole, ex-legend, you know, come in on an interim basis, do the job. Mourinho won a Champions League with Porto, won a treble with Inter Milan, multiple titles with Chelsea, did a good job at Real Madrid, one of the best managers in history, and struggled with authority at this club. You know, Erik Ten Hag comes in, something different. He was playing some dominating football in Netherlands, an authoritative figure, disciplinarian. People were buzzing off him when he was, you know, after that Brentford loss, when we took him on a run and then we won against Liverpool. Now the same people are moaning that he shouldn't be taking him on runs and he's training him too much and the players are getting leggy and da-da-da. And all this kind of shit. And it's like, well, we've been here before, haven't we? We've been here before. I don't know. With me personally, I'd just wait until the summer and then make my assessment. I think, for God's sake, don't get rid of him now and then just bring in an interim manager to try get that bounce to get us Champions League football. Like, I just don't think there's enough time. So you may as well just say, look, we'll give him an opportunity to try get Champions League football. If he doesn't and we drop down into the Europa or wherever it is, we then have a season next season where we can bring a guy in and start to build with him. Anyway, let's read the comments out. Make sure you smash like on the video, by the way, if you can, and make sure you answer that poll as well that we've put up. Quite a few of you have done it so far. Erik Ten Hag must stay, I think he's trying to say, Dino Lewis. Do you think if Ashworth comes in, he might say to Erik Ten Hag, get Ferguson from Brighton? One thing for sure, Dino, I think that's going to happen is, whoever it is who comes in, if it is Dan Ashworth, we're going to start getting linked with players from Newcastle, Brighton, any clubs that they've worked, even fucking West Brom, there'll be a link with a player from there. You can guarantee that for sure. I think the way we're going to operate, I mean, I've done a video on this for the members, so if you are a member, there is a video called Ineos 2024 and what I think the summer is going to look like, what kind of players they're going to go for, how they're going to switch up the negotiating style, sorry. All that information is on there, so I won't go into that in too much depth. If you want to go check that out, please do. We dropped it earlier on today. Really, really good video, if I do say so myself. But I think it's interesting. I'd give Erik Ten Hag until the end of 26 season. Fed up of revolving manager door. A squad needs to grow for it to flourish. I agree. Simon Davis saying at the end of the season, at the end of last season, every Red loved him. There's a bigger picture which no one can see. Lewis saying latch on to the next shiny manager. When do we learn? Very good point, Lewis. Simon saying I disagree heavily. How can you say that, bro? Were you saying that about Erik Ten Hag at the end of last season? Very immature, says... I mean, I may have got confused there. I don't know what's going on. I'm just reading the chat. Elaborate on your points if I've misread it or whatever. Chris Pep in the chat saying, I'd hate for Potter to come in. I'm with you on that, Chris. Absolutely. Tim99 says, I don't think we can get much more out of this group of players. I think he's squeezing. Look at the... Like, listen. This just says it all. When we played Man City the other day, I need to get this point out. When we played Man City the other day, when the team lineups came out, Man City had Edison, Walker, Ruben Diaz, Stones, Ake, Rodri, De Bruyne, Bernardo Silva, Doku, Haaland and Foden. That was their starting 11. We had Onana, first year in the season. Dolo, very flaky, but starting to come into his own now. Varane, injured quite a lot, can't get any consistency out of him. Johnny Evans, a 35-year-old centre-back who's had to come in and do a job more than he thought he would. No left back. We've got Lindelof at left back. Casemiro, whose legs have fallen off. Kobe Mainoo is his first senior kind of season, if you will. Bruno Fernandes, look, is quality on his day, but again, this season's been underwhelming, in my opinion. Marcus Rashford is a purple patch player. I've said this since day dot. Garnacho's had a decent season, but he was appalling against Man City. And then we had no striker. Have I missed someone out? Who the fuck have I missed out? McTominay, obviously I missed out. You know why I missed him? Because he's a fucking ghost and you can't see him on the pitch. I know he's scored a lot of goals for us this season. He's got a free pass in that respect. But playing a full 90 minutes and asking him to be technically profound in a game, never happening. So what do you want a manager to do when he's got a team like that? You're playing fucking Victor Lindelof at left back. Do you know what I mean? You're playing a 35-year-old Johnny Evans at centre back. You're playing against the best team in the world who's just won a treble. They've lost 4 games all season. What did anyone else expect to go man marking, toe-to-toe, keep all the possession with the players that we've got? That was always going to happen. I don't get why people act surprised when it's a 3-1 to City and you're like, oh, we should have gone better tactically. You know these people on Twitter and YouTube, all these fucking nerds who are like, well, actually, I would have set up with a box set up and I would have done this, I would have done that. That's why you're on Twitter saying it, mate, and that's why you're not in the United dressing room. It's a lot more, complicated than that. City find you out everywhere. They have world-class players almost in every single position. So that defeat at City was expected. I'm not saying it's acceptable, but it was expected for me. It was more the Fulham one when I was watching it, and I was like, fucking hell, Erik, what are you doing? What is going on? But then Ten Hag sets him up to get into a good position, like he did with the City game. 60 minutes in, you're 1-0 up. We've had 3 or 4 chances where Rashford's got him behind and just fell on his ass. Is that a coach's fault? Or is that an individual player thing? So let's talk about the players as well as the manager, not just the manager. Gino saying we need to keep Erik Ten Hag. The tactics he's asking for the players to play are mostly the same players who failed under previous regimes. Lewis is saying if Erik Ten Hag gets a sack, Ineos will and should be scrutinised, I think he means, for being short-sighted. Lou saying going to take 4 or 5 years, leave him be. What's going to... Are you to say to me, Lewis, that you disagree with me? No way, man. I think you love going against the grain, Lewis. Anything what anyone else is saying, you're like, nah, disagree with that. He's shit. Disagree with this. Da-da-da. You won't give Onana his flowers. Onana's been playing really, really well, and you won't give him his flowers. He says, no shit, get rid of him. But the past 3-4 weeks, he's been really good, whether people like it or not. True Cushman says, we're not making Europe. The best we can do is Conference League. We can't. United can't be in the Conference League. We can't. I was listening to the Devils the other day. Talk of the Devils? I was listening to Talk of the Devils the other day, and he was saying, Carl Anker tweeted something about, what was it? West Ham was shouting, fucking, you'll never win a Conference League when they came to our ground. And it's like, well, we might do, actually. We might end up being in the fucking Conference League. That's how bad things have got. Depending, I don't know, because it's weird. Things can change so quickly in football. In the next 3 games, we've got Everton, Sheffield, and Brentford, I think it is. They're all winnable games. Tottenham play Aston Villa next. If Aston Villa beat Tottenham, we'll go 5 points behind them. Another loss there, you're 2 points. We beat Everton, we beat Brentford. Do you know what I mean? Football can turn around very quickly, but we shouldn't be aiming for 5th anyway. We never, ever should be doing. If I was Ineos, I'd give Erik Ten Hag a new contract and show the players who's in charge. Lewis is saying, reading Twitter, it seems the wheels are in motion already. Erik Ten Hag deserves more than this. And this is why I've gone with the title. You might have saw the thumbnail and thought, well, why is he clickbaiting? I'm not. His future is in doubt. Like Lewis just said there, you look on Twitter, there's so many journalists that are reporting it at the moment. You've had ex-players coming out in Paul Scholes and Gary Neville. And when I put it on Twitter the other day, people were saying, what will they know? They don't know anything. I mean, come on. Don't be naive. Of course they know. Of course he's speaking to people at the club. They played with players like Darren Fletcher. Do you not think they would have dropped him a message to say, Darren, what's going on, mate? Like, what's happening? Da-da-da. Other people at the club, coaches, they still know there. Come on, don't be naive. They'll know. Gary Neville's going to be working with Jim Ratcliffe in some form of capacity, I believe, as well. So, if people like this are saying it in that space, I tend to think, something's going on. Definitely. They're never, ever going to announce it now. Why would they do that when there's like 10 games left? There'd be no positive effect on that whatsoever at all. So, yeah. No one's speaking about Eddie Howe, who has a better sporting structure. Yeah, that's a good point. No one's speaking about Eddie Howe because it's not Man United. United are the talk of the town. People aren't even talking about Chelsea as much. People, in comparison to Poch at Chelsea, Ten Hag gets blown up way more. Just simply because it's Man United. Like, everyone, a lot of the people, even including like Gary Neville and, you know, some of the pundits were saying they think Poch would be the perfect man for the job. It's the system above you. It is the system above you that has so much effect. Pochettino ain't a bad manager. Eddie Howe ain't a bad manager. Even though their structure's, you know, relatively good. But Poch more so isn't a bad manager, I don't think, in my opinion. Did a great job at Spurs on a shoestring budget. Did a great job at Southampton. It makes so much of a difference having competent people above you. I'm telling you. So I see it for more than what it is. I don't just believe it's all Erik Ten Hag's fault. I think the players are definitely fucking accountable, and I think the people above him as well should go. If you're going to get rid of one, get rid of the fucking lot and start from scratch. That's what I say. True Cushman says, are you sure we will beat Everton and Brentford? Remember, we still haven't played Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea. Well, I'm not sure. It's a good point, True Cushman. I'm not sure, but on paper, I'm talking, you should beat him. But Fulham, on paper, you should have beat him. Nottingham Forest, on paper, you should have beat him. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying we will, because I know what this team are like. They're so inconsistent. Chris Pep says, I'm so glad that social media wasn't around late 80s when Fergie had a bad start. I wouldn't know. I was born in 95, so unfortunately I was like 4 when we won the treble. My years were like in Moscow when Ronaldo scored the header and we won the Champions League against Chelsea. That's more my kind of era. How old was I when that? 2008? I would have been like 13, 14. So that's proper nostalgic for me. So I can't really remember. Oh, well, I wasn't even born in the 80s. I was more born in the late 90s. The best we can do is 7th. I disagree. I think this season's that fucking random. We could finish 5th or we could finish fucking 9th. I do. I don't know. I don't know how the rest of the season's going to go. Maybe things will... Look, one thing's for sure. I'm going to talk about a couple of other things shortly. But one thing is for sure. When we got our players back at the start of the season, we didn't lose one game. Didn't lose one game. Drew to Spurs in a bit of a... But apart from that, we beat Wolves at Molineux, which we always struggle at Molineux. We beat Aston Villa twice, home and away. You know, a couple of the other games that we've won as well. So we, you know, when we had everyone available, and then we get a couple of injuries again. Lissandro's out, Luke Shaw's out, Højlund is a massive miss. And then again, you 3 players missing, and you go back to like, we'll have to fill over here. You know, your whole tactics get fucking completely changed then. And the manager struggles. Yeah, I think Erik Ten Hag has that blunt, low charisma, which makes him an easy target. Meanwhile, Poch will make a joke and everyone loves him. 1995 here as well, says Lewis. Please do smash a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new, if you haven't tuned in before. I love having new people come over and get their opinions in. There's been a couple of other reports about positions at the club. I mentioned Darren Fletcher before. There is a thought to be a willingness to keep Darren Fletcher at Manchester United, but recognition from all sides that his current title of technical director is misleading and does not reflect his role as a coach and academy first team liaison. No shit. People have been asking what... Didn't Ragnick say about Fletcher when he got asked? He was like, what's his job? And he said, I don't know. No one knows. He's just lingering like a bad fart. Ratcliffe and Ineos team are looking to bring in a technical director and a performance director who would report into Dan Ashworth's in a 4-pronged approach to revamping the senior football setup at Old Trafford. Names being mentioned like Jason Wilcox, who's done a great job at Southampton. Dougie Freeman has kind of, I think he's either United. I think United have distanced himself from a move for the sporting director Dougie Freeman, who's at Crystal Palace, who's done a great job there as well. So these pieces of the puzzle being moved, and Erik Ten Hag is a part of that. Now, I want to get on to, I mentioned the stats before and goal scorers and stuff like that. I thought I'd pull something up because it's interesting. So let's have a guess. This is where we interact, okay? And this is where you need to get involved in the comment section. So, the current Manchester United assist chart. Who are the top 3 assisters? Is that the right word? Assisters. That don't sound right. The top 3 assisters. I'm going to say assisters. Top 3 assisters for United right now. Who do you think it is? Put it in the comment section. The 3 players. I think it's in all comps. I'm guessing it is. Let me check. I'll know it if it is because I look at the goal scorers. Yeah, it's in all comps. Definitely. Who do we think? I'll give you a couple of seconds. See what people put. One of them's easy. I mean, yeah. This is the reason why I'm going through this is just to get that pure kind of outlook at our output from a game in terms of assists and goals and what we're doing and how far we've fucking fallen off completely. I mean, I saw a stat, I think since the turn of the year, 50% of our goals were scored in like 1 month. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Lou says Bruno, Maguire and Onana. Bruno is in there. I'll give you that. Onana's assist, I tell you what. Well, it's like an assist of assist, isn't it, really? But he deserves an assist for that ball he played against Man City. That low-driven, like, he's really good at that. Bruno, Shaw and Delo. Delo's on there. It's a good guess, that, Lewis. Yeah. Delo's on there alongside Garnacho with 3. So, Fernandes is number 1 with 9 assists. And then Delo and Garnacho are third with 3 assists. Who's number 2? Casemiro must be in there. He's not. He's not. He's 1 below. Casemiro's got 2. Have a think. It's definitely not Anthony, but I think we can all rule out him. He might be in the back like, is it me? No, mate. You've done it against Newport. That's it. In the past 10 months, you sausage. Shut up. So it's not Anthony. So, it's not McTominay as well. Not Højlund. No, Højlund's on 2 assists as well in all comps. Believe it or not. I thought you had more than that. Is like you said, all the players apart from 1. Lindelof, no, not Lindelof. Not Lindelof. He has got 1 assist, though. Not McTominay. McTominay's got 2 assists. Should I just tell you? I don't know. Because you said every player apart from the player. So I don't want to say it now. I'm just going to wait. Rashford, there we go. Dino Lewis says Rashford. Yeah, Rashford's on 5. So the current assist chart for United, 9 assists for Bruno Fernandes, 5 assists for Marcus Rashford, 3 assists for Garnacho and Delo, which is, apart from Fernandes, everyone's saying Fernandes is having a below par performance. 9 assists is at the top. But still, you'd expect more of him if you look at his figures in the past couple of years. Now we go on to top goal scorers. So let's do top 5 of this. Who are the top 5 current Man United goal scorers in all competitions? Give me the 5 and give me how many goals you think they've got. I'm going to make a point out of this. I'm not just doing this for fun. I've got something after it. The reason why I'm doing it. What are we seeing? Let's see. I'll tell you who's at the very, very bottom. Eriksen, Antony, Lindelof, Mabry, and Varane are all at the bottom. They're on 1. I'm trying to think, when was Eriksen's goal? Who did Eriksen score against? And who did Lindelof score against as well? I thought Lindelof was it a corner? Or a header? Hannibal Mabry scored... He scored a rocket, didn't he, Mabry? In the earlier part of the season, I think. I can't remember. And Varane was against Wolves at the start of the season. I remember that one. So, Class Kitsun has said McTominay 6. McTominay's on 8 goals. He's second. Dino saying McTominay, Casemiro, and Højlund. They're all in there. Lindelof against Luton. Oh, shit, yeah. Was that game as well? I don't know. I forgot that. McTominay, Højlund, Rashford, Casemiro, Bruno. Majority are all in there. But no one's got it. Scotty's on 8 goals, not 7. Casemiro's on 5. Højlund is on 13 in all comps. 13 goals. So, your top 5, you've got Rasmus Højlund on 13 goals, all competitions. You've got Scott McTominay on 8. You've got Bruno Fernandes and Garnacho on 7. Marcus Rashford on 6. And Casemiro on 5. They are the top goal scorers for Manchester United. So, remember them figures, okay? I'm just going to run through Arsenal and Man City's figures. You ready for this? Bukayo Saka, 13 goals and 8 assists. Ødegaard, 6 goals and 6 assists. Declan Rice, 5 goals and 5 assists. Havertz, 7 goals and 3 assists. Haaland's got 18 goals and 5 assists. Foden, 11 goals and 7 assists. My light's gone off. 1 second. Never mind. Just have to have a dark face. I can't remember where I was at. Silva, 6 goals and 4 assists. The output... have I gone really, really dark? Oh, no, it's manageable, isn't it? It's manageable. It's not the worst in the world. Yeah, I'm all right. I don't give a shit. I'm going to carry on anyway. Oh, no. So, look, yeah, the output there, insane, innit? Like, we have the start of this season, there's so many fucking games where, like, what pops into mind straight away, the Luton one that someone just mentioned, relying on Lindelof to score, or the Fulham game where Bruno Fernandes scores right at the end. The Wolves game, 1-0 Varane, header. So many games in it where we're just not scoring enough goals. And that again comes down to chemistry, patterns, having players available consistently, Marcus Rashford falling off the face of a fucking cliff. Players being selfish at times. Rasmus not getting enough service, not enough connection. But Rasmus, by the way, did a show this morning, Player of the Month in the Premier League and for Manchester United. So absolutely buzzing for him. People will talk about Ollie Watkins and Foden. You know, definitely deserve a shout. But Rasmus has been one of the bright sparks of this season, and Garnacho has, and Kobbie Mainoo has as well. But they need quality players who deliver time and time again around him. Rashford ain't doing it. Anthony, 85 million quid, ain't doing it. Bruno's been pretty average for the majority of the season. Casemiro's legs have fallen off. The defensive partnerships, I think we've had about 24 different back fours in total. So we haven't got a rock-solid foundation there. Like Arsenal have Gabriel Saliba playing the majority of games, right? I know Man City like to interchange, but for the majority of the time, they'll have, like, I don't know, they'll have Walker, Diaz, Stones, or Stones plays more in the midfield. But it'll be like Ake, Walker, Stones. It'll be Ruben Diaz, Walker. You know what I'm saying? You know 9 times out of 10 what it's going to be. With Spurs, likewise, Van der Ven, Romero. Ours is, Johnny, are you available? Rafa, are you no, you're not fit. Leachart, injured again. Lindelof, no, you're playing left back. Fucking hell, who else? Maguire, yeah, you've just come back from injury, right, you can go in then. Do you know what I mean? That's what we're doing with our defence. That's why it's almost impossible for a coach to formulate a plan and execute it on the pitch when you have so many changes and it's so frequent. It's different with City because they have world-class players who are used to the system. We don't. 80% of the players that played against Man City were all Jose, Ollie players. And that is where you kind of wrap it and tie it all into one with this manager. I get people want him gone. I completely understand it. I'm never going to argue against it because a lot of the points are valid. But for me, at least give him to the summer. Maybe give him a chance 6 months at the start of the season. Get the players in that you think can do a job. Get Dan Ashworth in. Whoever it is who's going to come in below him. Get a structure and let's see how he does then. Let's judge him then. I think if you get rid of him now, I just think it's pointless. I think he deserves more than that, in my opinion. And he's probably sat there thinking, I hope I get the opportunity. But my heart says keep him. See how the first 6 months of the season go. My head is saying, I think Ineos are already talking to people, talking to man. In fact, I know that for a fact because I've spoken to someone about that who's been on the show before. You can probably guess who it is. And has really, really good knowledge of everything that's going on at Ineos. Ineos are talking to people. That's a fact. So take that for what you will. Just leave us with a comment, right? For everyone who's in the chat right now, first and foremost, please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel and check out the 2 videos we dropped today. One on Rasmus Højlund being Player of the Month and 2 Ineos Summer 2024. That is for members. So if you are a member, please do go check that out in your spare time whenever you have anything available. And the last thing, just leave yes or no. I know I put a poll up earlier. Let me have a look what the poll's saying. So I put, would you keep Erik Ten Hag? 73% of people said yes. 27% of people said no. So let's see. Get in the comment section. Say it with your chest. Who is Erik Ten Hag in? Who is Erik Ten Hag out? Get it in the comments and we can kind of have a last kind of couple of minute discussion about that before I head off. I think it's part of the problem though. We should be focused on us. For sure. Class Kitsun says, honestly, I don't think it's just about Erik Ten Hag being good or bad. I think Ineos has come into United with a specific vision with regards to playing style and structure, and maybe Erik Ten Hag simply doesn't fit. Again, I think that's a very smart comment. I don't think, from reports that you've seen, I don't think Dan Ashworth is a fan of him. It's always when something new comes in and new owners and like even TV programs that you watch, when something new comes in, they tend to go, do you know what I mean? They have something that they see in their sights and are like, well, this guy was already in before. He's got things attached to him. We could pay him off and then we can just go full speed ahead then. I do agree with that, I think. So, Tim99 says in. Lewis says in. Dino Lewis says yes. Lou says in. Chris Pep says yes. Come on, there's someone in here who does it. There's 27% who said no. So someone in the chat, speak up, say it with your chest. I'm not going to ridicule you. I'm just curious to know who it is. I'm very curious. I want to know. And state your reasons as well. Please. Because it's all good getting it with, you guys in the chat. I think you speak to people around the ground, people who go to the game on a regular basis. The 50-50 as well. People are split on it. They're really, really split on it. And then that almost becomes like a distraction of its own, doesn't it? Because people and pundits and media, and I suppose we're a part of it as well, but we'll talk about this until the end of the season consistently after every single game. Will he go? Won't we go? Will we get Champions League football? Won't we get Champions League football? Will it be the Conference League? Da-da-da-da-da. Simon Davis saying, my word, can you not remember 12 months ago? I do remember 12 months ago. And it was a nice time. We just won the Carabao Cup. Erik Ten Hag had significantly overachieved with what he had at his disposal. Third, and we were sat there saying, fucking hell, finally we've got a manager who's getting the best out of the majority of these players. Rashford's back in form, flying. Lissandro's been such a good addition. Casemiro's killing it in the midfield. And it's quick how things can change in it. Football is like that. In a click of a finger, it can change. This season hasn't been good enough. No way near good enough. And there's many, many reasons for that. But we've still got 11, 12 games to try rescue something. If we can beat Liverpool in the FA Cup, advance to the... Is it semis after Liverpool? Advance to the semi-final, get a run going in the league, you may just save your job. But I think the writing on the wall is on the wall for Erik Ten Hag, I think. So read between the lines. I don't get what you're trying to say, Simon, but... You whatever it is, yeah. He's got to stay to finish off his plan, fed up of chopping and changing. I proved last year is capable of going places. Let's see what happens with the manager. We've got plenty of stuff coming this week. We're going to try to get a guest on Thursday, I think it is. He's coming on. We're going to have the preview on Friday. I think an Everton fan is one of my mates is coming on to discuss Everton in depth. I'm going to speak to him about Branthwaite and Onana and get his thoughts on the game ahead. Of course, we'll be live for the game on Saturday, is it? I think it's on Saturday. 12:30 kickoff, innit? Everton. We'll be live for that pre-match and post-match. And as always, you know, the more members join, the more members videos that we'll do. So if you want to become a member of the channel, Real Red Ultra is about £3 a month. We dropped a video today. Someone became a member last night. We dropped a video on Ineos Summer 2024. So please do let us know what you think about that. Helps support the channel, helps us get guests on. You know, the community is developing. So if you do want to be a part of that, then yeah, more than grateful and appreciate every single one. Even if you don't, appreciate every single one of you for tuning in, taking time out of your day and getting involved in the comment section, as always. Dino saying, when is Jay Motti coming back on? This week, I think. I need to speak to him because he's been busy. They've had a couple of good guests on recently, actually. I was listening to the one with Andy Mitten before. It's really, really good. So yeah, Jay Motti be back on at some point soon. I was talking to Alice Talks Football as well. She was going to come on. I've not spoke to her in a bit, so I'll see if she can come on as well. Yeah, we're going to mix it up, the content. I'm going to do some more stuff outside Old Trafford as well. I did one after the Fulham game, I think it was. A very depressing kind of therapy walk around the stadium and had a chat to the camera and stuff. I'm going to start doing more things like that. As always, the Reels, the Shorts, the TikToks are always popping off. So all the socials that are above my head, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, check us out. Enjoy the rest of your day, people, as well. Don't work too hard, and I'll see you guys in the next one, yeah? Take care. I'll read these last comments out, sorry. Honestly, don't like how Erik Ten Hag changed his style from last season to this season. We've had some good patterns of play before, so why not build on that instead of completely changing? Happy days. Nice one, lads. Take care, everyone. You're a fucking bunch of legends, and I'll see you in the next one, yeah? Peace.